What's up, YouTube? Everybody, how are we doing on this fine Friday? Now, you're probably wondering, Mike, are you finally starting to gather a regular release schedule? Yes, I am trying. This is me trying to at least give you one video a day, 5 days a week. Now, of course, until we can, actually get it on the 5 days a week, probably going to be a little crazy. Anyway, today's video, we being I think about 80 days out from the start of the college football season, we're going to talk some college football. So you're probably wondering, Mike, if we're going to talk college football and you're a Buckeye fan, we're not going to talk about the Ohio State football schedule today, are we? Thankfully, but unfortunately, no, not today. But that will be one of the videos coming out in the next week. So, that being said, you're probably wondering at this point, my goodness, you just jab. What are we talking about today? Well, today we're going to talk about my predictions for the conference champions and the entire 12-team playoff. So let's get it. All right. First up, my prediction for the SEC winner will be the Georgia Bulldogs. And they will get the overall number 1 seed. Next, Big Ten champion, Ohio State Buckeyes. Will they come in undefeated at the number 2 spot? Will they have at least one loss? Will they have 2 losses? I don't know. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Next, bringing in our number 3 seed, the ACC champion Clemson Tigers. I think Clemson kind of bounces back after last year. We see things get fixed after the debacle that they had in 2023. And hopefully things will be better for them. Next, our Big 12 champions, bringing in the 4 seed, the TCU Horned Frogs. So, now that we know our first round buys, by the way, I think TCU looks really good this year to make a bounce back. I feel really high on TCU. Obviously, I got them in the playoff. I got them a first round bye as the lowest seed that you can get for a first round bye. But they're there. I have confidence in them. I can't wait to break this puppy down. So, what do the playoffs look like, Buckeye Mike? First round game gonna be the lower left corner. Winner gets to face TCU at the 4 spot. That game is 5 seed Texas, 12 seed Tulane. I think Tulane could be a really good group of 5 team this year. That's kind of like, well, there's another team that we're kind of high on, but We have an extra spot. They did just as good. So they kind of, I feel like we kind of end up maybe with two group of five teams in the playoffs this year, just because it's just kind of messy there at the end of the season. Our next matchup is good old fashioned bang, bang, banger. Number 6, Notre Dame, taking on taking on 11, Penn State. Let me tell you, baby, I don't like the Gold Domers. Everybody that watches me or knows me personally knows that without a shadow of a doubt. I do not at all like them. But I think they're stacked up and set pretty good this year. They have a little bit of an easy schedule outside of the quote unquote non conference, like where that would be. They take on Miami of Ohio at home. Go Redhawks. It's going to be very interesting to see what exactly Notre Dame does this year. And Penn State could lose 3 games and still make the playoff because they're always right around that 8 to 12 spot. Always. They always lose to Michigan and Ohio State as of late, and they're always still right there. So I think Penn State will finally be rewarded playoff-wise, which I put my hand on the Bible, hand to God. I still, to this day, believe Penn State should have got in 2016, the year they beat Ohio State and won the Big Ten. I still believe they should have got in that year, and maybe they would have had success against Clemson, but we'll never know. Mike, what's the 7-10 matchup? The 7-10 is Florida State, Boise State, baby! Let's go. The Broncos finally getting respect. They're on the come up. They're nowhere near as good as they used to be under Doug Peterson before he went to Washington. But whoa, baby. Boise State is a dark horse. Mark my words. Boise State is a dark horse, ladies and gentlemen. And we get to see this fire matchup again. Who wouldn't want to see it? I mean, come on. All right. Now, Mike, who is the final first round matchup in your hypothetical? Ooh, buddy. We got to go to Tuscaloosa for this one. Bama, Oregon, 8-9. I like the hire of DeBoer from Washington for Bama to replace the GOAT. Hands down, Nick Saban is the GOAT of college football. There is no denying it, no arguing. If you want to argue, you kind of cray. Oregon, first year in the Big Ten, they are really going to make quite the impact here because you just wait for that Oregon schedule preview breakdown. I got some interesting takes. Now, Tuscaloosa, always, ever since Nick Saban came to Bama, always a tough place to play. The Ducks are tough. Don't get me wrong. They got what it takes. But I just don't know about that. So there is my first round for the playoffs. And now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Yeah, baby. The Rose Bowl game of the quarterfinals. Number 1, Georgia, back in the Rose Bowl, taking on number 8, Alabama, back in the Rose Bowl. This is insane. This is crazy. These guys are going to play for at least a second time this year. If this would happen. So, I think we're definitely starting to get into some good games here. Next quarterfinal, we got the Sugar Bowl. Ends up being a battle for Texas. Number 5, Texas, and number 4, TCU in the Sugar Bowl. Let's go, baby. I think, like I said, TCU, man, look out. They are going to go on a tear this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people. And I do think that they will. All right. Next up. Boom. The Peach Bowl. 6. Notre Dame taking on 3, Clemson. Clemson's kind of, fallen off a little bit as of late. But. I think Dabo is going to light a fire under their butts. And we're going to get the Clemson of old to come back. Let's go. Like I said before with Penn State, I'm not a Gold Domer fan at all. I cannot stand them. Don't like them. But Notre Dame, I think, has the class and the players to do this, to really make a decent run here. First year of the 12 team. I think they can really pull some things off. Will they pull them off? I don't know. I think they've got what it takes. I think that defense is looking tougher. That defense is looking stronger. Their offense is coming together. The quarterback room is looking better. We are just off to the races here. Our final quarterfinal game in the 12-team playoffs. None other than the Fiesta Bowl. 7, Florida State versus 2, Ohio State. You knew this was coming, folks. Now, personally, there's a lot of animosity here and a lot of hatred for the Seminoles. Whoa. I can't stand these guys either. But it is what it is. I think this will make for an instant classic, just along with all these other ones we got going here. Next up, we got our semifinals. In the semifinal for the 3rd time this season. 3rd time, baby. The grudge match. The one to determine it all. Who's the better team in the SEC for this one, baby? Georgia Bulldogs at number 1. Taking on the Texas Longhorns. This is the grudge match. What's it going to be, y'all? What is it going to be? And our other semifinal, the Capital One Orange Bowl, y'all. Number 6 Notre Dame heads down to Miami to take on the number 2 team in the country. The dudes in the Big Ten, man. Ohio State, number 2. This is another grudge match, believe it or not. Except it wouldn't be a grudge match in the same year like Texas, Georgia. Texas, Georgia, if that's the case and it happens 3 times, that's going to hit differently. And it's proof right there that teams could play each other 3 times in the same season. And this is where college football is at, ladies and gentlemen. I have finally come around. I like it. It's good for the sport. We can create growth in the sport for this. This right here is a grudge match that happened 2022, 2023, and what happened for the 2024 season. Granted, not really a grudge match because Ohio State won the previous 2. But hey, there's a chance for Ohio State to complete the clean sweep and go play for a natty. Well, guess what, folks? Yeah, you may not like it. I may not like it. But your 2025 college football playoff national championship game is number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes, with coming in at like 15-1, taking on the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs out of the SEC, coming in at 15-1. Oh, baby. I want this. Buckeye Nation wants this. SEC fans want this, just to shove it in our faces. I want this because I want my revenge, because there should have been us on that back half of your repeat. Y'all screwed us. Granted, Ryan Day and the coaching staff and the execution of plays screwed us as well. But here it is. Here we are. It all comes down to this. Who will be the national champion according to Buckeye Mike? And y'all are about to go either nuts in a good way or nuts in a bad way. Because, ladies and gentlemen, according to Buckeye Mike, your 2024-2025 college football playoff national champion is none other than the Ohio State Buckeyes. What a road to get here. We will go more in depth over this in the schedule breakdown because I don't want to give everything away here. But Ohio State to be the first one to do it for the 4 team. First one to play in the championship game when it transitioned to the BCS game, having its own game and not being represented through the bowls. So you're not taking a game away from a bowl game. It's got its own game. Back when we played Florida and Urban Meyer stomped us. To winning the first 4-team playoff. To now winning the first 12-team playoff. We seem to be the trendsetters when it comes to the championship games, folks. So, whether or not you like it, I like it. This is what I think. Now, you're probably wondering, Mike, most of those teams are already projected in other playoffs. So yeah, I kind of agree with the other areas like Athlon Sports, Lindy's Sports. I agree. The difference, did you guys notice the difference? The difference is I had TCU instead of Oklahoma State, and didn't have Michigan. That is a different. I had I can't remember if they had Penn State in there or not. I had Penn State in there instead of Michigan. We will go over why, to my firm belief, when we take a look at the Michigan schedule, and you will figure out why. Because don't get me wrong, I think Moore could have a decent season. I do. I think Sharon Moore was probably the best hire for the time, but we'll see. Hope y'all enjoy this video. I know this went a little long. I know I didn't go fully in depth, but that's just because I wanted to show y'all my picks, because that's the more important part of this. Hope y'all enjoy this. Don't forget to comment down below. Who do you think is going to win the national championship this year? Who do you think will be the 12 teams in the playoff? You could even put, okay, I agree with your field, but here's where I don't agree. I would have this team in this spot, because if you don't want to, you don't have to go fully in depth on it. I read all the comments when I do get comments. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. See you in the next video. We will see you here tomorrow as we start breaking down schedules. So stay tuned. Everyone have a wonderful day. Peace.